Let's take a quick look at some of the work you've been doing in classrooms. I know you have some clips, so we'll just take a quick look at that.
I thought I'd start by talking about some of the things that kids find fun. And I mentioned that they love this great boar. So you can see this boar at the level of just, wow, he talks, he's huge. Or you can see it in terms of much greater depth in Indian literary tradition. Okay, here are some clips.
I like the part when Kumban came and destroyed the lands of Ponnivala. It was funny, and I just liked how big he was.
Another thing that the kids easily picked up on and that was very important was the female role models in this story.
I love the female role models.
So do I. And there is a marvelous heroine who is extremely determined, and the kids really picked up on her strength and how she leads her husband and helps him in so many ways to overcome their joint difficulties. And so here are a couple of clips and what they have to say about the female heroines.
Tamrai went back to her home. Her family beat her up, but then she took revenge.
King Kanudia and Queen Tamrai were both betrayed by their families. Tamrai's qualities really kept them going.
Shiva gave Tamrai the water that helps her get the boon. From all her hard work, she deserved it because of her determination. My favorite part was when Tamrai went back to the place where she was born. Tamrai's parents told her to never come back, but she had courage and she went back to meet her family.
Here's a bunch of clips where kids will easily pick up on fun and humor because there's one character, he's the first minister of the family of rulers, and he's quite a comic character. He's very big, he's very funny, and so kids understand him at that level. But if you're an adult and you first of all watch the segment where he's born, you'll know that he is a reincarnation of Asvatthama. Well, Asvatthama was one of the great warriors in the Mahabharata, but he was a warrior on the side of the Kauravas, the enemies of the Pandavas. In this story, Asvatthama is reincarnated as the first minister of the heroes. So he switched sides, which is interesting. And also his name is interesting. His name is Shambhaga. And you will know, if you know the Ramayana, that there's an important character named Shambhaga. And that's an interesting situation because Shambhaga is trying to kind of outdo himself with meditation and move upward in the social ladder to become Brahman-like. And Rama actually gets angry at that. So if you're an adult, you can think of the implications of who this character is and why he's been put on the other side of the story. Whereas as a kid, you can just enjoy him for being a buffoon.
I like Shambhaga. He's big and funny, and also because he's very loyal and he uses his mind a lot more than his brute strength.
He's a really loyal assistant. He puts his life in danger to serve his masters. He's always there for them. When Shambhaga got the maid and went away, I like this scene because he outnumbered a lot of people, and he also caught a lot of the Vetuva hunters and captured them. And I also liked when the maid said, "Hold me tight."
Where did all the pictures come from? Where did the animation come from? And I must mention my animation director. I was so fortunate to find him. His grandfather was a professional singer of this story. And he used to sit on his grandfather's knee and listen. And he wanted to tell the story and become like his grandfather. His grandfather was his idol. But by the time he became an adult, you couldn't make a living telling stories anymore because there was already Bollywood, there was, you know, electricity, and the whole tradition was almost dead. So the best that he could think of was to try to become an animator like he'd seen in Bollywood films and Disney films and see if he could tell stories that way. So I found him actually animating in Bangalore and said, come to Canada, work with me. When you're working with Disney, you're not doing your story. come work with me, we'll do your story as you remember it as a small boy on your grandfather's knee. He said, I'd love that opportunity. He came, he's worked with me, he's now a Canadian citizen.
Wow.
And all the artwork is not only like his drawings for all the key things, but it's his imagination. I've never told him you should draw this way or that way, or this is the way the scene should be laid out. It's how he understood it. So it's very genuine. And it's all done in folk art of the style of this area of South India. So I've worked very hard as a scholar to make this genuine. It's not some story made up for Disney. This is a real story done with real art from the heart of this great animator whose name is Ravi Chandran.